So, yeah, we're going to work on the refining the shoulder today. And part of that is going to be just blending and everything, and introducing some lights and shadows and stuff here. So I'm going to need some colors. Yeah, I'm going to get the colors back that I was using last time. So we were using black and somber gray and some blue and some different tones. Hi, Sebastian. I'm going to go with like a neutral gray here for blending sake. The iron hue that we used last week is nice. It's really thick. These are very similar in color and tone, but this one is coverage is like slightly less, so I find for like layering purposes and mixing, it's maybe slightly easier to blend with. And then we were using this guy. And I wanted to ask, if my goal is to paint 32mm faces better, would you suggest practicing on that scale or 75? I would actually suggest practicing on like an academic bust. If you just want to practice painting faces, that'll teach you a lot of things about like the volumes of the face, how to interpret those sorts of things. And then you can take what you learn on that and apply it at a smaller scale, right? So you could practice on just 32mm faces, but practicing on a larger scale, like a bust, can kind of inform your decision making. And then we have our bluish tone here. Do I happen to have a favorite titanium white? I don't have a favorite white. I'm using this white, but this is not titanium white. This is like a mixture. I'm pretty sure it has zinc white in it. So you won't result in like the same level of coverage. I think the Chimera white's all right. It's like a bit creamy. Yeah, whites are a pain. Like I'll show you the difference between these two. Let's put it on something real quick. Here, I'll place it on the back just so you can see like the difference in coverage. So this is the atom or ionic white, right? And this is over black, so this is like as hard as it's gonna get in terms of like coverage, right? And then that's the Chimera white, right? And once that dries, you'll be able to see the difference. But yeah, you can see that the like Chimera white is a bit thicker and has more coverage, but it might be a little more challenging to blend with. Thanks, the Splatterhouse. The Artist Opus egg handle, what makes it worth like $35? It's comfortable. I like the kind of bulby thing, fits in my hand really well. You can flip it if you prefer, like you can take the cork and put it in the other side too if you prefer like the wider end towards the top. But yeah, it just like fits in the hand really well. All right, so time to start refining, okay? What that means is probably a lot of the work I've already done is going to get covered, but we want to make sure that we have like a really good foundation here. Just something to start with, right? So the big thing that I'm looking for is like these little shapes and stuff. Those like change in planes. Those are really the most important thing when it comes to the non-metallic. And I'm going to try and emphasize those quite a bit. Okay, like the sketch is already done, but it can be refined. So like it can be very difficult to see, but there is like a little tiny change in plane like right here, right? So I want to make sure I emphasize that, but I don't need it to be like a massive contrast, even if it's just like something subtle, just to show that there's that change in plane there. That will work. So I'm going to just go back and forth with some of these colors, these tones, like, and begin to integrate them and soften the transitions, push the contrast where I need, reduce it where I need. He's got little, there's like tiny little pyramid things, like spikes there. Hi, Sean. I mean, I feel like I've talked about it a lot, but really, like, I can have a favorite white. You can have a favorite white. Like, paint is very subjective. Like, I don't think there's a best, right? They have different properties, and one might be good for one thing and one might be good for something else, right? Unless you're talking about, you know, like, which one's the brightest red? It's like, well, okay, maybe then, like, scientifically this one might be like the brightest. Dogface 412, hello, welcome. Thanks for the prime, I appreciate it. So we're just going to work our way through, beginning to define these things. Now I do want the armor to be pretty dark overall, so I will be using a bit more black than maybe even I usually would. Because I want that very, like, dark atmosphere. Hi, you're welcome, Skizu. Hi, Dave. Well, thanks, Dogface. Glad you're enjoying the VODs. The edge of my brushstrokes tend to still show when I'm feathering with a single pigment heavy bodies. Yeah, I mean, heavy bodies is heavy bodies, right? That's like kind of their intent, right? They're very thick. I don't think heavy bodies is the best choice for like, feathering and stuff. You want something a little more fluid. I was told by a couple prominent German painters that if I didn't use Schmincke titanium white, I'd risk the annexation of... Okay. I didn't want that on my conscience. Yeah, well. They can use whatever they want. It's the results that matter, not the paints you used. So I'm going to start to try and introduce some more secondary reflections in here. Start to define some of these smaller shapes. So one thing I'm really trying to do, all right, is I want to create contrast. You've probably heard, like, you've got to paint all the edges, right? It's one thing I say in my classes when talking about non-metallics. Well, painting all the edges doesn't necessarily mean like doing edge highlights, right? It means defining the edge, okay? I need to create contrast when there is a change in plane, all right? So here I'm using this darker tone next to this more medium tone in order to create this contrast between this plane, right, and this plane. Did I paint a bright white edge? No. Who's that? Jerk Shoes. Thanks for following. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush here. Right, so I want to give some shape, emphasize the shape, and define the change in planes, right? So one of my goals, my aims here is to like really pick some spots where I want to have like really intense reflection. So this is where the light's gonna like directly catch. And these areas might seem like they're gonna be pretty small towards the end because I want to focus a bit more light towards the face. And also that high contrast between the two is going to make it appear shinier. All right, let's work in some shadows. So something like this, right? Should this catch like a really bright light? Probably not. Probably more likely there's going to be more bright light here, but I might want to like define that edge just a little bit more just to increase like the contrast between this and the next plane. Right, so maybe something really small like that is enough to just like define that edge a little bit. I want to make sure that's pretty well defined. And then we can work more of these intermediate colors in. There's a lot of little subtle plane changes in here, so we have to try and emphasize all of them. And so that high black contrast is really going to help to emphasize that shift in plane. Something like this, you have kind of two things going on. So you have this little like lip here. There's this little bevel here, but this little bevel also kind of comes across like this. So there's this like compound curve thing happening. We can emphasize that. Oh, thanks. I've been doing it for a while. Is painting my full-time job? Yes. Painting and teaching painting. And spreading the gospel of melee over spellcasting. Now, spellcasting is good. You need spellcasters to buff your melee. Have you always done painting, or did I have another? No, I had another job before. I was a professional miniature painter. I worked in advertising. Advertising and digital marketing. What made me quit? I don't know. That feels kind of too personal. I will tell you that advertising is one of the most like highest turnover industries, though. It has very fast, and I made it a pretty long time. All right, so one thing here, we want to define all these little teeth. I'm trying to see them all. Kind of hard to see when they're all black. So I'm just going to kind of like outline them. This might not be like how they end up looking at the end, but I'm just trying to get them kind of outlined. I paint box arts technically. I still, yeah, sort of. There is some overlap. Oh man, so you don't even need me to give you feedback. You already know. You know all the answers. What do you need me for? Then your paint and add more needs more contrast. That's the best possible feedback you can give someone. It's the most non-answer ever. MFCA show 2025. Is that a question? What are you asking if I'm going? Are you asking if this is for that? Are you asking if it's a thing? When the date is? What's the question? Yeah, I think so. That is currently the plan to attend. How can people hire me? Are you looking to get a box art done? I was there last year and I missed meeting. Well, I was there. All you had to do was come say hello. I don't bite. You only do that, or can you do other things? Like, do I only do box arts, or can I, like, play the saxophone, like I can. Hi, Aldridge Mere. Hi, hello, thanks for following, welcome. You asking if I can juggle? Because I can do that. Would you mind define how you pros and masters manage the refined steps? What techniques you use? I want to move away from the classic method of base layers, washes, highlights, and just play with light and volumes, but remain stuck on rough finishes. I can juggle, actually. All right, hold on. Let's see if I can find. These are awfully light. Let's see if I can juggle paint bottles, huh? Here we go. There you go. Not very well, but it's a lot easier with, you know, balls. That's the things you learn to do when you work in the mall and nobody's coming in and you have literally nothing happening, is you teach yourself how to juggle. When you're working retail and have a really slow day. Okay, let me get back to this refinements question. There's so many ways to refine, right? The way I do it is, I would say, probably similar to like how Mark Masklins does it, in terms of like our sort of process of like begin at a sketch and then slowly refine and work in thinner layers and smaller brush strokes until you get to the desired finish. Where other people might have their own approach, right? It's not like, not everyone is going to be the same when it comes to how they kind of approach the refinement process. So it's like that's another like pretty personal thing when it comes to painting, is like how you go about, like some people like to wet blend, some people like to just glaze constantly, like just tiny little glazes, right? Like I think about like Sergio Calvo tends to do a lot of just like layering, and then he kind of uses the airbrush to blend. So there's a lot of like different techniques and approaches, and each one has its benefits, right? Is there an expected level of skill for someone who wishes to take one of my classes? It depends on the class. Each class is like if you don't understand like basics of volumetric lighting, like probably taking my cast shadows class is not going to be a good idea, right? I also wouldn't recommend like jumping straight into my 2-day workshop if you've, don't have some basis in like volumetrics and color mixing and things like that. Blending, like I don't teach blending in my classes, right? It's not a thing I find interesting to teach. There's so many different techniques, and how I do it is not necessarily how, other people are going to do it. So like, this is what I was just saying about refinement, right? So that's not something I teach. And because of that, like those are kind of skills Not really, not in my back to basics class. That's not really what my basics class is about. It's not really about like blending. It's not a blending class. It's more about like fundamental techniques of like volumes, line shadows, how to base coat your miniature properly, like understanding paint consistency. Would it help me? You're a lost cause, Dave. I'm just kidding. I'm joking, by the way. I don't know. Would it? Probably. Does your basics class cover brushstrokes and pigment density? Yes. I mean, I talk about different techniques of blending, but I don't like really go over that, like how to do them, right? It's kind of like, again, it's a back to basics. It's not a like this is a blending basics class. It's a like here's some of the fundamentals you may have never learned, because that's typically the things that people do learn is they learn like, okay, here's how you wet blend. And it's like, yeah, but you don't know where to place the light to know how to wet blend properly. Like you can make a perfectly smooth transition, but you never learned like how to apply a base coat right, or like think about like where the lighting position and stuff should go. I've seen people who can blend their ass off, but they like all their highlights are placed erratically, right? Yeah, am I a lost cause because you're Australian? Yeah. It's impossible for you. Give up. There's no good Australian painters. I'm an okay painter. I've taken Eric's Cast Shadows in 3-day workshop. The knowledge was fantastic. I was not able to just take the teachings and start instantly knocking out Eric level work. Well, I hope not. I have a bit more practice than everyone. I think both classes were great and glad for them. I'm trying every day to practice. Good. What I was taught about lighting, I would recommend Eric's classes, though I would suggest not as your very first in-person class. Yeah, I mean, I've been told that they're a little daunting and like pretty high level, but if you're down for the experience, like they're like I said, they're not beginner classes. Even my basics class is not a beginner class. It is a basics class targeted at more experienced painters. Van Zwiege, hello. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for following. But like I'm doing the what do you call it? The like Warhammer Faces class. That class is not like, it's targeted more at like people who paint like army stuff that want to learn some like more advanced techniques. Jan, hello. Been playing the new Monster Hunter? No, I haven't been playing anything. That's not true. I've been playing a little Balatro in my downtime, like before I go to bed. I play like an hour or two. I just beat all the decks on Gold Stake. Woo! Including Black Deck. The only thing I have left to do is get a gold sticker on every Joker, which seems like it would take a really long time. Have I ever done a historical military bust or figure like World War II? Historical military bust or figure? No, not like modern history. Like ancient history, yes. But not like modern. Like what I guess modern military would be like anything with like firearms, right? Like more the modern age. Then no. I've done vehicles, like old scale models. But that's not really like a figure. All right. Yeah, it's kind of coming along. Where else do I need any more light? I think like right here on the jaw, just at this transition point, I want like a little bit more light here. Right, he's got this kind of like, I'm gonna just paint it real fast to show you guys, but there's like this second little lip like underneath. I need to figure out how I want to define that. But I also don't want to lose like the shadows, right? I'm going to have to bring back some shadows even in these lighter areas here just to make it like feel like a darker metal. Because I want it to be like a black, a very dark steel, right? What do I want to do with the eye? Should I make the dragon's eye a ruby also? Probably. Any other small volumes here? Kind of define around the gums a little bit, right? What would be the gums? Okay. So that's kind of working. I think we can push the white like a little more. So I'm going to use the actual titanium white. You can see just how much brighter this is going to look. Anyone in my classes at Adepticon in the chat? Did I just intimidate you all? And you guys are like, I'm out. I just submitted my classes for Nova. They're the same ones at Adepticon, by the way. No, you're not allowed to leave the capital palette. It's not allowed. Do you have just a little sneaking suspicion, Dan? Just a possible? Considering you make the schedule, I'm pretty sure you can somehow find the time to take one of my classes. Oh, weird. Also, this one class by Eric is 1 seat short when it went on sale. How did that happen? All right, so I'm trying to get, yeah, that's kind of like defines the brow a little. Hi. Hi, Rottweiler. How are you? I need to start thinking of new classes for next year. Maybe maybe Adepticon and Nova this year will inspire me to come up with a new class for next year. I like to rotate it classes. I like to have something new to offer the people and not just teach the same stuff every year. Gundam fingers? You want me just the finger, like burning fingers? You just want me to paint hands manipulators? Just want me to teach you how to do this? Just paint Gundam hands. I've got a lot of Gundams. I got so many Gundams, dude. You guys have no idea. It's what I did before this. Hey, Eric, do you have a chair you specifically bought for long painting sessions? Is this a real question? Are we doing this again? Are you messing with me, Jackson? It was like all last week. Watch the last stream. We talked about chairs a bunch. Somebody doesn't watch the VODs. All right. What else do we need to do on the dragon face? There's probably a little more I need to do around the nose, and the nose might also be like a little over-defined at the moment. Okay. What are we talking about? The gelato again? Dave, what I saw was a man half your size almost eat more gelato than you. And it was a lot. Do you ever clear coat your bust when you're done? The only time I clear coat is if I want to adjust the finish. So if I want to adjust like the like shine, because some paints are shinier, some paints are more matte. If I want to like equalize the shine or something along those lines, then I will clear coat, but otherwise, no, not really. I do clear coat gaming figures because it just provides like an extra layer of protection, right? All right, so we're kind of at something like this. Like, it's pretty roughly what I'm aiming for in terms of like general shape and light. I think there's probably some missing parts like that aren't quite right and likely need some adjustment. But in general, I think that's kind of working. I'd like to add some more of this blue in. Create a bit of secondary reflection here. What environment is this guy in? Some kind of cave thing, you know, with some sort of unnatural light source. If you know about the Drow, they live in the Underdark and they have like a false sun type thing. It's like a light that's like in the center of the city. It's like a magical ball of light and it like slowly sets throughout the day. So it's like a false sun or something. The Drow reign supreme. That's a voice line from Baldur's Gate 2, and in case anybody caught that one. No, not Dark Alliance. Shadows of Am. Let's see. Okay. Just looking at the render on the website. Make sure there are some really tiny details and really subtle volumes. I had to like look at the like render of this guy on the website just to see like some of these really subtle shapes in here because the detail on them is like so shallow that it did some of it like straight up disappeared. MF Doom Scroll, hello. Welcome. So I was checking to see if I missed any little volumes or if I'm kind of misinterpreting one. Not that it's a huge deal, but, you know, just want to confirm. It's fine to use, you know, a little bit of reference material. No, Eric, that's cheating. You're cheating. Can't do that. You calling me a cheater at Kill Team? Is that what I just saw? Is that what I'm reading right now? Dude, you played your army wrong like 3 games in a row and still lost. We want to go there? Planewalker. Oh, Plank Walker. I've never even done that against you. What are you talking about? Literally never done that because I haven't played your mandrakes in the new edition. What are you trying to call out? Coming at me? Come at the king? Huh? Hey man, it hasn't been FAQ'd, so you know. If your army can just cheat and ignore the rules of the game, so can mine. All right, let's see. So I really want to get some nice reflection like right here. All right, what else we got? So we probably need to add some of the gold into these parts. Probably do it around the collar too. Let's just throw it on there to see how it looks. Okay, I'm just going to use this as like a glaze, like a filter, to change some of these pieces' color. Right, I'm not trying to like repaint them or anything at the moment. I just want to see how they look. This is again one of these parts where it's like the details are so tiny and subtle. It's pretty difficult to see like all the little spikes and stuff. Have you tried Duncan's paints based off the way you paint? You might like the blending it right. No, I have not. Nope. I am pretty happy with the paints I have. I don't need another range of paints. I don't know what this part is. Okay, maybe I'll do that whole little section in gold. Maybe just this whole piece right here should be gold. I don't know. We'll see. I might change my mind. So something like that, right? We just get an idea of like how this color separation will work. Gives us a little more gold accents. Is that earth? No, it's dark ochre. Again, I'm not trying to like paint the gold right now. I will like cover back basically over top of all this. I just want to see how it looks like distinguishing these parts. And if I want to do any other parts, oh geez. So he does. Oh my god, I can't even see that. So let's see if you can see it on camera. You kind of can if I go like this. Can you see the line now? Can you guys see that? Can you see this line right here? Well, there's one here too. And there's like shape to it. You can kind of see it while it's wet. There's like an actual design there. So, yeah, that gives us another little like gold effect. Yeah, it's super shallow and really subtle detail, but we can kind of emphasize that. It gives us a little more gold. What do I think about like maybe I'll do a part of the crown gold? I don't know. I don't really want to give him a gold crown. And I don't really want to do like the edge gold. Maybe like I could just do like a part in the center gold. I don't know, maybe not. I'm not doing a gold gem. Xtopher, you have asked the bad question. It's not about the recipe, okay? It's not about the recipe. It's about the light placement, all right? Don't worry about the recipe. Recipes are for baking cakes, okay? We're painting volumes. Yeah, light placement is the key, right? That's the important part. You can get that. You can use whatever kind of recipe you want. Give me some of this red. Where's that? Chin toast? Sin toast? Aye. Look what if we added a little more reds here and there, huh? So I think I want to do these red. Maybe. This is going to be red. I'm just trying to work out color details. Yeah. I think that kind of works. All right, that gives us some more red accents. That thing's going to be gold. The brooch, or whatever it is, clasp. All right, I'm gonna try something. All right, we're gonna play with some freehand here, sort of. We're going to do like just the center section, like it's like a set gem setting. Okay, so we're gonna do just this like front part, and then like it stops. So something like that, right? Where it's just like It's not everything, it's just like this little center piece. Yeah, I think that helps just like balance some color around the face, and then obviously I have to like highlight and stuff, but I think that draws a little more attention. Let me put some highlights back on the spikes. There's definitely more red in the ears. Yeah, there's like pink, more pink in the ears. If you mean like the very tips, probably no. Do I want to do anything with the scales in terms of color? But I'm just looking at color balance right now. I'm not looking at like refining anything at the moment. I'm just seeing how I feel about like the general colors. The more I look at it, the more I go like maybe his crown, like that border of his crown should be gold, just because it would help the head stand out against the hair more. What's the worst that can happen? We just have to repaint everything? How do I feel about that? I kind of prefer it. Definitely makes the border between the crown and the hair easier to read. You mean like this? I think I'll leave the center, the steel. I think that's cool. Or silver, whatever. What do you think about that? I mean, I don't think I'm going to make it like a ultra bright gold or anything. It'll probably be like very toned down. But just similar to like how we did this, right? It's like this more kind of brassy color. The idea, Richard, here is not so much that like I needed a little bit of the color balance, but beyond that, it was more about creating more separation between the hair and the silver, because they have silver hair, right? So I need to create some kind of distinction between the two, and my options at that point were either like adjust the values, which you can't really do on the hair because you need it to be white, and I can't do it too much on the metal because I need it to be like really high contrast to appear shiny. So my other option for creating some kind of contrast between the two elements is to play with the color. Is there anything I want to do with the scales? They're not like actual dragon scales. If they were like more actual like lizardy, I would consider like creating, like making them look more reptilian and like pick a color, like doing maybe red, chromatic red dragon scales or something like that. But because they're just, because of the sculpting on them, they're more like symbolic of dragon scales. How does it look now with a black background? Oh, let's find out. Like this. Still think the dragon head's maybe a little bright, but can make some adjustments. Yeah, I mean, we have to make some adjustments here. It's like it works, but it's gonna have to get changed a little bit, right? It's probably a little too yellowish in spot. Like this is way too yellow at the moment. Okay, I'm gonna take a short break. I'm gonna go, yeah. So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. And we will continue. All right, I'm back. Hello. Zoom out a little bit. Okay. So, thinking about things, making adjustments where needed. I think I want to add like a little bit of like dark, something like slightly more bluish to the armor. Make some subtle adjustments here. Can I use? I don't want like phthalo blue. It's too intense of a blue. Something like a Prussian blue or let's try this out. This is a blue black. See what this color feels like. Yeah. So this is like a slightly turquoisey blue. I'm not really going to I'm not trying to like change the color of the armor here, right? I'm not trying to make it like blue armor, but I can use this like blue black in the shadows as like a way to intensify the shadows a little. So just using like a glaze, gonna push the depth of the shadows like a little bit more. Trying to get some color depth. Okay, this can be used as like a way to just like make the blacks feel deeper, right? Then as we layer on top of it, it'll reduce that color a little bit, but sometimes you need a strong, like slightly saturated color in the shadows in order to make the shadows feel like extra dark, right? Then I think we can play with that even more. What if at the very end we take a little violet, right? So we're going to take some of this guy, we'll take some of the violet, we'll mix them together, we'll get this like deep violety blue color, right? Something like this. And then using this as a filter, You guys see what that does to the shadows, right? Instead of just gray, right? This dark gray, we add this like bit of chromatic color to the shadows to intensify the depth. That makes sense, huh? Anyone? Why this works, right? What are we doing, right? We're having this like create this sort of chromatic black. Am I talking to myself? So every bit of this little color that I layer on, right? So now that I layer on some of this like dark purple over the black, right? This is a transparent paint, okay? So what's going to happen is it's going to just like make this black like even darker, right? So now there's this like little bit of like purple information in the deepest shadows. So you can see the difference between like this, which has like this really intense feeling of black, right? Versus this right here, which is more this gray that I was working with. And one feels much more like deep than the other, you know? I would call it a cold purple as opposed to like a warm purple. It's more like a violet. Eric, I'm surprised I wasn't following. My name is pronounced Gosu, by the way. I saw your bug piece at Nova and it was stunning. Well, thank you. Welcome. Thanks for the follow, Gosu. Welcome to the stream. So now I can start to push some of the light back in. Try and start to define some of these shapes a little more. Something like that, right? It's a subtle adjustment, but I think it helps to intensify the metal. Doesn't feel like I don't know if for you guys this looks like ultra saturated. It looks really saturated on my screen. At least on like the stream preview. I don't know if it's like that for on the TV. It looks normal, and then on this one it looks like way more bluish. Let me see. I actually have the saturation turned down. Put it like that. See if that helps. I don't know if that did much of anything or not. Still looks quite blue, but in OBS it looks very blue to me compared to the television Okay. It's looking about right in terms of where I want the color, the depth of the blackness of the metal, right? This is one of the reasons I like to say like value is more important than the color when you're dealing with metallics. Earlier guy was like, oh, asking about the recipe, right? Like, what's the recipe? Well, like that's why I say kind of recipe doesn't really matter as long as I get the value right. If I get if I establish the value and get the placement of the light right, it's easy to make adjustments to the like color of the metallics, right? I can easily adjust the coloration later through filters as opposed to like, making sure the like getting the light placement wrong and then having to like adjust the lights and things. Do I have night mode on? What is night mode? Is that a thing? Oh, you're talking about on his phone. Not do I have night mode on. This is a size, oh, this is a 0, but yeah. Typically I can feel pretty comfortable using like a 1 or a 1 or a 3 for anything. This is honestly like kind of small. I might prefer using like a 1 in this scenario, in this situation. I just grabbed what was handy at the moment. It's the point that matters. It's not the size of the brush. It's the pointiness. Yeah, but the thing I will say about really tiny brushes is they don't hold as much paint, which can often lead to some frustration with like, oh, my paint's drying on the tip or whatever. Like, I go to paint white and it's dry by the time I go to put it on the model. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're using like the tiniest brush in the world. It's actually probably about time to bust out a new brush. You can tell by this handle, this one's been used a lot. Which one should I pick, Richard? This one? It's not. It's not that I don't have them. It's just that I'm sometimes stubborn to grab a new one. You find when you're like, oh, this one's working well. And then you're like, well, maybe it's not as working as well as I thought it was. I like, for doing this kind of work, I do honestly like a newer brush with a little more spring to it. Older brushes tend to have a little less springiness to the bristles, and I think you can get some sharper lines with a bit of spring. Is there a We're in Eric's Discord and a Twitch sub discount on brushes anywhere? I don't know about all that. If I ever have anything to announce, I'll be sure to let you guys know first. So here's what I kind of want to do with these little secondary guys. Now, I kind of overdo it at first, and then I like to reduce the noise, so smooth it out, right? Start a little more exaggerated, and then reduce. This is a good one. This feels good to switch to a new brush. You know. Gonna do a little more marketing for you guys. I swear, not intentional. I just happened to notice I was wearing it. Okay, let's push the black a little more. Let's get some of this purple mixed with the black. That's not happening, Craig Song. I can tell you that one for sure. Let me make sure I never get a Raid Shadow Legends sponsor real quick, or Genshin Impact, or any of those other ones. I think gacha games and those sorts of games are predatory. They rely on obfuscation and FOMO to get people addicted. Thanks, Richard, for the Prime. What is Theranos? Is this another one of those games? Yeah, no World of Tanks, no. What's the other one? There's like one everybody gets a sponsor from. They're like, I love this game. I'm like, dude, you never played that game. Oh, I'm not familiar. Is there a good video I need to watch on this so I can get angry? What is that other? I cannot remember that other like stupid war game. War Thunder. There, I remembered. That's another one that everyone promotes all the time. And they're like, I love War Thunder. Blah, blah, blah. And like, no, you don't, dude. It's like, you're so full of it. You never played that game. I love War Thunder's money. Give me money. This is my promise to you guys. This is coming from someone who worked in advertising, okay? I will never promote or sell a product to you that I would not happily buy myself. I don't have a Squarespace site. I will just make that in HTML if I need to. Now, if Audible hears this and they want to sponsor me, Audible or, you know. Oh, it was far worse than that, Craigzong. Honey was way worse than just selling your data. They were straight up stealing money from affiliate codes. That was one of those ones that I looked at the second I saw it. Yeah, it's one of those ones you look at and you're just like, there's no way. Like, how is this company making money? Yeah, honey was really bad. Not only that, so it's like that, it's, in case any of you guys don't know, it's like one of those plugins for your browser that's supposed to give you like discount codes. Well, they were basically doing protection money racket where they were like, we'll only show people, you can pay us, let's say, I don't know, let me think of an internet site that you can buy random crap from. All right, USA Gundam Store or whatever, Michigan Toy Soldier or any one of those like sites. You have a discount code on your website. Well, if you pay us money, we'll only show the discount codes that you want us to show. So even though you have a 25% discount code, we'll show them a 10% honey discount code and say that's the best one we could find. You just have to pay us some money for that. So they were basically like extorting companies to like remove discount codes from the database or whatever. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's awful. Oh yeah. We talked about that part. Yeah, where it basically like it would switch the affiliate link to them, so they would collect the commission. It's like, oh, we couldn't find you any codes. Sorry. Press this button to dismiss this pop-up alert. Oh, did you press the button? Okay, well, you interacted with this, and we switched the cookie to say that actually we're the one that referred to you, and now we're going to take the commission. It's super messed up. Pixel Savage. Yeah, definitely. Don't worry, the free market will take care of it. Yeah, I wouldn't, I don't know if I would trust that. I'd never even like heard of Temu. Until I guess Squidmar did like a video. But but I guess it's just like Wish or whatever. It's just crap. It's just like... Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Well, that's like all the, that's like all the, like these guys, right? I don't know. I don't even remember who these are made by. These like magnifiers. I bought these on Amazon, right? And they work fine. Okay? They're cheap plastic, whatever. But they work. They function. Okay? But there's like 90 different brands that all sell these exact same glasses on Amazon. And you're like, okay, so there's one Chinese factory making these things, and then just a bunch of white box brands like sticking their name on it. And then they're probably manipulating like user reviews and things to be at the top of the search results on Amazon. What was it they went after for? Did they go after Vallejo for the color shifting? That's what I thought. I don't think you have to worry about that, Craigslog. That's not happening. I bought some of their like leaf stamp things a long time ago and have never bought anything from them since. I will say this though, okay, if we're gonna get all topical like this, right? I feel like there's also this case of like people want to jump. They like are looking for a reason to like jump down companies' throats about stuff. Like, oh, F these guys. It's like the whole thing with Vallejo happened and with them, with the factory and the strike and stuff, and people are like, brr. And then like they finished the strike ended, and like Trevelyan released a video after the fact. And it's like, guys, like, chill out. Like, they handled it, right? You don't have to. They came to an agreement, okay? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Toss your K cups away. Your what is the name of that brand? What's the company that makes the like K cup coffee machines? You remember that years ago? Was that like during the first Trump presidency where people were like, I hate my Keurig machine. Smash my Keurig machine. Yeah, I don't understand that either. Like getting mad at professional sports players for like, first, they don't even like, they don't get to pick the team they're on. You know that, right? Like, that's not how that works. They sign contracts and trade them. You think for a second any one of those teams is going to like show loyalty to their player if like they're like, yeah, you're not working out anymore. We're bye bye. Like, yeah, especially the people that are like, okay, it's one thing like, okay, I understand in like Europe or whatever, like with football clubs, right? When it's like this football club is like owned by the city, it's like privately owned by the citizens or whatever. Like, heck yeah, you know, like in that case, obviously, like you're going to support whatever. But when your team is like at the drop of a hat, like, yeah, we're going to leave. We're going to move to a new city. Like, see you later. It's business to them. I'm sure there's probably some that the like owner is from the city and he's like, I'll never leave. I love the city. But I'm guessing those are fewer in between than the other end of the spectrum where it's like, nah. We out. Profit. Actually, that's a question, since I don't really know this. How does that work with professional, like, football clubs in Europe? Like, in Spain, I don't know if we have any people that are into La Liga here. In the US, an NFL team can just be like, yeah, we're leaving. And they just move cities, right? The ownership doesn't change. The same owner. They're just like, we're leaving San Diego and we're moving to LA or whatever. It's like the Oakland Raiders. How many, like, they were in Oakland, then they moved, or they were in LA, then they moved to Oakland, and now they're in Las Vegas, right? They've moved twice at least that I can remember. Or were they the LA Raiders, then the Oakland Raiders, then the Las Vegas Raiders, right? Anyways, can a, I'm guessing, like, is there something stopping like Real Madrid from leaving Madrid, which they wouldn't be Real Madrid anymore? I don't know. It's a weird conversation to have while painting miniatures, but now I'm curious. I know they can like sell the team. Like they could just like sell it or close it down, but can they legally like move? Is there any history of that? The Colts just moved in the middle. They're just like, we out. Bye-bye. Just sneak away in the middle of the night. The Colts went out for milk and cigarettes and never came back. Yeah, I just didn't know that. I didn't know if it worked any different in like professional like soccer because it's been established for a lot longer. So I didn't know if there were any differences in rules and contracts for how football clubs work. Hey, anyone in the YouTube comments, if you know how this works, let me know. I mean, I could look it up after, but I would ask how it works in Australia. But you guys have like 5 cities, so you know. Trying to farm some more engagement from my Australian viewers. See if when the chat gets slow, just throw a grenade towards the Aussies and see if I can get them to freak out. I'm guessing Sydney probably actually has multiple professional teams of like the same sport, right? Something like New York or Madrid. You know, you got Madrid, Real Madrid, and then you have Atletico. And there's also like 3 others. Then you have, is it New York and, well, I guess New York has multiple of like every sport. Because basketball, you have the Knicks and the Nets, right? And then football, you have the Jets and the Giants. Baseball, you have the Mets and the Yankees. I'm talking specifically New York City. And then hockey, they only have one, right, Dave? You only have the Rangers, right? Oh, they have the Islanders too. Okay. I see. I didn't know that one. Damn, they got two of like every sport. At least the big four, right? Yeah, I don't care about Major League Soccer, just like most Americans don't care about Major League Soccer. Did you know Premier League is more popular in the US than Major League Soccer? It gets higher viewership than so does La Liga. La Liga also gets more viewership than Major League Soccer. We rather watch the Europeans play. So this is, I'm here, I'm going to get back to explaining something real fast. This is probably one of the hardest parts of the non-metallic on this piece, is the transition here between the horn and the like top of the skull. Hi, Jonas. Wait, how many are actually good though? Wait, for New York? I mean, the Yankees are like considered like one of the greatest sports franchises of all time. Hello, baby stapler. Yeah, so when it comes to this like transition area, right, we need to think about there's like this curve at the top that's going to get the highlight, but then there's this little interior curve at the base of the horn, and we have to like get a highlight on that too, because it also would receive a little spot highlight, right? Baby Stapler, thanks for the tier 1. Yeah, I mean, I don't follow professional sports enough other than MMA to tell you if any of the New York teams are like currently good. I would not know. Because I live in an area where we have no professional or no major league teams anyways. Thanks, Jonas. I have him right here. I showed him off earlier, but here he is. Orky boy. So yeah. Tarok. What should I be talking about? Da Bears. Da Bears. Doubles. Could always be the Browns or the Bengals. It could be Ohio, where your professional teams are so bad that your state cares more about college football than they do about professional. That is true. If you go in like any store in Ohio, there's way more like Ohio State merchandise and branding and all kinds of other stuff than any professional team. Well, I think the dragon shoulder is getting kind of refined now. You can sort of see it coming together. Trying to get these little spikes are interesting too, because you have these like very like sharp transition between the bottom of it and like where it curves over into the light. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to like kind of darken them out like this, and then I can make that transition a little more subtle. They also kind of point down, so most of the highlight is just going to be like on the actual pointy part, right? It's like just going to be at like the top here. Something like that. Is this a new paint handle? Yeah, man, this is the egg. It's the Artist Opus egg. You can't really see that because it's... I don't think that this is a pre-production one. This is a prototype. Can't just get one that says like that. But yeah, these are new painting handles. They're quite comfortable. I'm a fan. They make 3 different sizes. This is the big one. The small one is a little... I have the small one, actually. You guys want to see it? I have the other 2 sizes. You can tell I use the small one a lot because it's been taken out. Yeah, it's an egg, so it's a luxury product, and it's very expensive right now. Actually, probably one of these is probably about the same price as a carton of eggs at the moment. So this is a little tiny guy. This one, a little small for me. I guess it'd be okay for like painting a like Space Marine head or something. Yeah. But yeah, that one's a little tiny. Not super my speed. If you have small hands, I guess it'd be all right. This is the medium, and then that's the large. This one's pretty comfortable. This one I'm like, okay. Not bad. And yeah, it'll like go in either end. So you can, if you prefer it with the like wider end at the top, you know, just whatever's comfortable in your hand. I prefer it at the bottom. I feel like it's, I don't know, fits my hand better. There's no innuendo here. Yeah. And yeah, I've talked about this before, but these are like the split top old Wrathcore ones. If you guys remember these guys, these like corks. So these are like the corks that Artist Opus did. I don't think this is the correct one for this. No, that is. So this is the one for the large one. You can see it's like kind of longer. But these are the old like Wrathcore corks. So if you have the old Wrathcore painting handles, guess what? They fit the big one. So no, it's really tight. It's actually tighter than in the Wrathcore ones. The Wrathcore ones, I think they actually should have slightly undersized the hole so it didn't like sink, because you can see that like as you use it a lot, like you can actually like start to push the cork like below the lip, right? So because the hole on this is like slightly undersized, you can like really like push it in there and it's like super strong. Like now I can't even pull it out, so I'm probably gonna have to pull it out, like pull this one out or whatever. All right, hold on. All right. Jesus. What is the slit in 4 in the cork? So the slit is like if you have well, they don't really do this anymore, but if you remember old models used to have like it's either for pins, or if you remember like some old GW models had like slotted bases. You could like clamp onto the slotted base model, but that's not super common anymore. You don't tend to see slotted base models too much. Yeah, I mean, this one's like got it, so. Infinity still does the slotted base? Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know what moonstone is. You're making up stuff. Fake news. I'm not clicking that link. That's a phishing scam. I'm getting into Deep Wars, guys. You guys remember Deep Wars? The answer is no. No one remembers Deep Wars. Yeah, that was a random game. You guys remember Guild Ball? Is it back? Oh. What does sort of mean? It's like kind of back. Overrated. Thanks for the Prime. 13 months. Appreciate it. That's over a year. That's crazy. What was that one game? You remember that like anime looking game? Relic? Was it Relic Knights? That made by like Soda Pop Miniatures or something? There was two games. One of them was made by... There was like Relic Knights... and some other game, I can't remember. I don't know. Is it dead? Yeah, I don't remember all of them. Next Level Painting followed. Hello. Welcome, welcome. How are you? Soda Pop Miniatures. And Long War TV for the follow. Hello. Yeah, dude, I remember Company Iron. That game was sweet. But that was, so Company of Iron was like the Kill Team equivalent of War Machine. And that was developed by, that was kind of William Oz Schoonover. I am sorry, Oz, if you watch this. That was his baby, and he, like when he left, that died. Next Level Painting, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, guys. How are you? What were you working on? We're working on this bust from Black Crow Miniatures. Just trying to do some details on the non-metallics here. And Long War TV, thank you for the raid. Welcome in. The back-to-back raid. What, were you guys streaming together? You doing a co-stream or something? What's going on? Yeah, we're just sitting here painting this Drow Man. Trying to work on some of these non-metallics. KR Quinn, hello, thanks for following. Welcome in. I give you guys a little introduction. Hello, my name is Eric. I'm a professional miniature painter. I've managed to fool people into paying me to allow me to do this as a full-time job. if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We were just discussing like really old, obscure, I guess Guild Ball wasn't that obscure, but older, obscure miniatures games. You know, like Trench Crusade will be in a year. Shots fired. I actually have no idea if it's good or not, but I'm just being snarky. God damn. Was that like, what was that, the one that was that also Steam Forged? Are you painting on a wet palette or glass? This is a wet palette. This is a red grass wet palette with the like reusable membrane. Oh, the art pieces. Okay. Talking about a little John Blanche and Karl Kopinski and stuff. Some Kopinski and Adrian Smith and Paul Bonner. Do you still have the big orc boy on hand? Yeah. Wait, they were all at GW? Yeah, man, they all worked for GW. But technically, I think Carl worked for Forge World. But he did like some of my favorite Space Marine art. Like he did all the like the Red Scorpion artwork and stuff for the Imperial Armor books, and like probably some of the best like Plague Marine art that's ever been done. It probably has a bit to do with it. I think Paul Bonner, probably people know more from the his time at Rackham than they do at Games Workshop. I think is probably more likely. I know for sure his artwork for Rackham is definitely more popular than his artwork for Games Workshop. Like, he did a lot of like black and white illustration stuff for GW. Like, he drew a lot of goofy looking orcs and goblins. What brands of paint do I use? I use whatever, but mostly I would say Vallejo, Chimera, and I've also been using a bit of Ionic, and yeah, I use a lot of stuff. But majority of what you'd see on my desk is Ionic and a lot of Vallejo and Chimera. I also, yeah, I got a Space Marine right here. You guys like Space Marines? For new people that came in. You like Warhammer? I paint some Warhammer too. Oh, Oh, damn. Why you gotta say stuff like that, dude? Space Marines are cool. What background do you use for your photos? The black one in particular? Dogface, there is, if you scroll back a ways on my Instagram, there is a like little tutorial thing on like how I do my black background. Space King. That stuff's pretty funny. The like hate monger and stuff. Those flash skits guys are pretty hilarious though. They're like they're like offensive enough to be on the edge of like, should I be I feel like I should be offended by this. Star Kaiba, hello. You didn't know this, Richard? This ASMR stream. I'm just here to put you all to sleep. I'm just here to help you go to bed, you know? We could get into the soft-spoken, quiet time. I could bring it down a little bit and we could chat like this is a NPR stream. Yeah, we're gonna paint some casual little edge highlights here. Just a happy little glaze. Sorry, I can't do Gordon Ramsay. One's not quite in my range. What's my best impression? That depends on if it's like singing or just speaking. I don't know. I feel like I have an okay Christopher Walken. And I feel like I can do an okay Donald Trump also. I can imitate certain singers' voices. Look at their vocal style. Who's Scott Stapp? Is that the guy from Creed? Is that Creed? What's a Creed song? I'm trying to... That's like that butt rock kind of sound, right? Like... Can you take me higher to a place where I may see? Is that like nasally annoying? With arms wide open. Yeah. Under the moonlight, I can do this place. I'll show you everything. I'm also trying not to sing really loud to piss off my roommate. I'm not opening up the vocal range there. And that's also me joking around. Like, I'm not really trying to sing. I was more making fun of Scott Stapp's voice. But what's his name from Pearl Jam has like that similar vocal style. Feeling the bed on made of concrete. Oh yeah. Oh, healing the melody. Yeah, Eddie Vedder. They all had that like voice. Like, what's his name? I guess Eddie Vedder's slightly older, like in terms of, and not really butt rock. It's like grunge, but like Chad Kroeger had that like same voice, Josie Scott. You know. Look at this photograph. Is this like trying to sound grizzly? Or in a rooftop. That's another common one. Rosier Art, hello, welcome. And I guess I missed Fumbles Magma. Sorry. Did I miss Pinto 205 also? I'm sorry if I missed some follows. Hi, welcome. Yeah, there's yeah, dude. 90s alternative rock, like there was a particular sound to the voice. So early 2000s too, but like Puddle of Mud and stuff, they all had that like same sound. You gotta sing like this. I'm not gonna enunciate anything. It just kind of vibrates in the ear. You know. Yeah, it's the Hootie and the Move. Yeah, that's true. That's the Hootie. What was the Hootie song? Was a classic Hootie song? Fuel? I don't even remember that. Yeah, the Darius Rucker voice. Oh, yeah. What? What the heck is yuck? You guys making up bands. That's not a real band. How was that one song that was like, hey, you're crazy when you good on top of need when I dream. I do when you all night, swimming down like a bank to my own. Like that was that band. Remember that? I can't remember what it was, but I remember this dude I worked with. That was his ringtone anytime his wife called, and I was like, God, this song sucks, dude. Yeah, well, he was also cheating on his wife, so, you know, with one of the girls that was in the office. So he was a really good guy. Buck Cherry. Yeah. Dude, like that and yeah, Buck Cherry sucks. What was the other one? Like, what is the name of that band? They did like, come my lady, come my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar baby. Who was that? Crazy Town. Yeah, they sucked too. Man, the 90s were like really bad for like that type of rock. Bing, 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 bing. I mean, that was like the era of like rap rock groups. Also, like that, the popularity of Limp Bizkit kind of caused that. Yeah, new metal. Oh yeah, Sugar Ray. Yeah. I hope that was uh sarcasm crying song. I really, really hope that was sarcasm. I can't remember like Sugar Ray. Can't remember any Sugar Ray bands. But yeah, those bands that they thought like they were a dime a dozen in the 90s and early 2000s. Just every crappy band on like the hard rock station like all sounded like that. Oh, like yeah, I mean, dude, okay. I say like they had some okay songs. Linkin Park wasn't that bad. There was worse. They're another one of those like rap rock groups, but like there were worse bands out there. But just remember, how much does it cost for a painting commission from you, or you buy the figure you're working on right now? That is not something I'm going to discuss on stream. If you want to ask me that, send me a private message on Instagram or something, and we can discuss prices. More than you think. How's that for an answer? Yeah, that's fine. Who was Josie Scott, the lead singer? POD? Was it POD? I think so. That was another one of those, yeah. Dat Moon Runes. Hello, welcome. Butt rock and boy bands, you guys. That's how you know you grew up in the 90s. How do I decide what miniature to paint on stream? I just pick one. I go, this sounds like it'll be fun. For I am the arbiter of my own destiny. And I will choose the figures that I want. Tub thumping? What was tub thumping? Oh, that's Chumbawamba. Yeah. That's like another era of like weird like Brit pop groups like making a break into the US. Like them and I mean they were kind of a one hit wonder, but them and like Jamiroquai. Yeah, man, I'll look at it. Hi, dog. And you've missed the whole conversation about crappy late 90s, early 2000s music. So, you know, you've been missing out. Why are those little studs by his armpits necessary? Because Raoul added a lot of like random tiny details to this guy. With arms wide open, I'll take you to this place. I'll show you everything. It reminds me of the South Park, like, I did the good jobs. Like, just sing in that voice, and then you can do the, you too can sing the butt rock voice. Oh, Bush. Bush is a classic example, yeah. Little rain, hail rain. Dude, I'm all about some karaoke. I partake in the ancient art of karaoke. You guys think you know me. You don't know me. You don't know me at all. All right? Well, some of you may have seen me at karaoke at Nova because we tend to do it. What is my go-to karaoke track? September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. But I have a few. I also like Moondance by Van Morrison. Nah, I tend to go back towards like 70s. I notice that you exaggerate your dark lines in some areas. Do you go back and glaze over those later once they're dry to minimize them? So you're talking about like here? Are we talking about like here? It's pretty heavy. I would likely come back and soften this part out, but I want to make sure that there's a good amount of definition between these two areas right here. Right, so this would probably get darkened down. Something like this. But I want that pretty strong dark line right here, because that helps separate the armor. And above that on the chest. Where at? Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about this one right here that's separating the gold part? This is all got to get cleaned up. I'm just trying to see where the heck that gold line is. It sure is. You know, I don't know. I got one. Just my recommendation, that's it. When's the last time that you bought one, Doug? Yeah, well, there's your problem, because I had the same feeling. I also said the same thing. And then Andy Wardle was like, no, dude, they're good now. And I went, okay, let me try them. And I was like, oh, they're good now. I will never be dishonest with you guys when it comes to consumer goods, okay? When it comes to tools and things, I also did not like the first batch. The original like Kickstarter ones, I was not impressed. But they won me over. The 8408 and the 8404 are okay. Raphael's, for me, are too soft. I don't like how soft they are. But that is just my personal taste. Size 3 and size 1, yeah, those are the two sizes. When I'm doing stuff like this, I'm using a size 1 typically. But like the majority of the beginning steps is like more a size. I could probably do a lot of this with a size 3 also, but I just happen to grab a size 1. Or, you know, we could step it up. Let's just go straight to the size 5, baby. Why not? You know? Let's get wild. This tends to be what I use more when I'm like doing these larger sketching parts. They mostly run a size small versus the other brands though. Yes, they do. A size 5 like Winsor & Newton is quite large. It's definitely bigger than this. This is probably closer to like a size 3 or 4 in Winsor & Newton. Well, let's compare. Do I have any? Let's see if I can check older brushes. So this is a Da Vinci. That's a size 4 in Da Vinci. So you can see that the size 5, but the belly is different. Right? This is more straight. This cup is the old cup. This is the new cup. Unused. Used. At least somewhat. I don't know if I have any like Raphaels in here. Most of the Raphaels are like wrecked. I mean, I know I have some. Let's see. Brush size comparison time. What do I got in here? Okay, well, here's a Series 7. And here's a old 8404. Here's another Series 7. This is a size 1, but it is beat to hell. So let's see. I already made that joke earlier, Mr. Flamingo Pants. All right, so here's a size 0 Raphael 8404, right? And this is a size 1 Winsor & Newton. They are roughly the same length. Now, this is the size. So this is a size 1 brand new Artist Opus. And you can see this brush is kind of messed up, but the size 0 and the size 1 Artist Opus between like the Raphael. So it goes Raphael, Artist Opus, Winsor Newton, right? So the Raphael and the 0 for the Raphael and the 1 for the Artist Opus are about the same size. And then the 1 for the Winsor & Newton are about the same size. And this was probably slightly longer when it was used more. Then this is a size 2 Winsor & Newton, which is probably, let's see, here's a size 3. So you can see a size 2 Winsor & Newton, like the sizes, the ones are roughly the same size, and then the sizes jump up faster. So this is a size 2 Winsor & Newton, and this is a size 3 Artist Opus. And then this is a size 5 Artist Opus, which is definitely bigger than the, what's it called? So this is probably equivalent to like a 4. Yeah. So that's a 4. And that's a 2. See ya. So this is a 4. This is a 2 in Winsor Newton. And then, yeah, they go up from there. So it's like the sizes of Winsor Newton's scale faster. Like they make bigger jumps in size, so you have more gradual increases in size on the Artist Opus brushes. But yeah, like the 0 and 1 is about the same size, and then it, like, they have more sizes in between. But I think I'm also probably done for the night. It's been about 4 hours. We got to do some refinement on him, sort of how I would approach the shoulder pads and stuff. And I still need some work, but Rat Pelter, thanks for following. So we're gonna shut off the YouTube record, and then